Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Farzy Show. Simply put, they just let it slip away last night. And I thought the Sixers would actually no, they did bounce back with a much better performance. So whether you like to acknowledge it as a reason or as an excuse or whatever you want to call it, they certainly felt like they had too quick a turnaround. I don't agree with it. I'm just telling you what the team's telling you, okay? Just passing along the message in case you didn't hear it. They played 1,000 times better in this game. They should have won game 2. They had game 2 in their pocket. And then they scored 12 points in the fourth quarter. They shot 1 for 10 from 3. They shot 4 for 19 from the field in the fourth quarter. And they lose 108 to 102. They had this game in their back pocket. With Joel Embiid, I thought the Sixers would bounce back and win. Without Joel Embiid, it's funny. This business can be so last minute. Literally, the news breaks, and I got a text from CBS 3, my buddy Andy Wheeler over there, and he's just like, "Hey, can you do a couple minutes on Embiid?" I was like, "Sure." So I jump on, and my gut feeling was the Sixers were still going to battle in this game. They were still going to lead in this game. But when push came to shove in the fourth quarter, they were going to lose the game. And that's exactly the way it played out. The reason I felt that way was I didn't think that there was going to be some miracle performance late in this game. I thought the later this game went, in a close game, it benefited the Knicks because a day off in between these games wasn't going to wildly benefit the Sixers. The Knicks, you want to talk about fresh legs late in the game? The Knicks are going to have them fresh legs. You blow out teams through 3 quarters and you get to rest through multiple fourth quarters and have one more day in between games than you did. Yeah, you're going to be okay. And the Sixers showed that their legs were shot. Look, you want to talk about emotions, whatever. You talk about all the minutes that Tyrese Maxey has played this season, all the minutes VJ Edgecombe has played this season. It's going to catch up to you at some point. And I know it was the only way the Sixers could have had a chance to even make the play-in tournament, be a top seed in the play-in tournament, make the playoffs. They had to run them into the ground, unfortunately. They didn't have a talented enough roster outside of those guys, unfortunately, but that's exactly the way the season played out. So when these games go on and on and on, especially after a knockdown, drag-out fight of a game 7, a 7-game series against another division rival in the Boston Celtics, I don't feel good about the Sixers late in games. And here they are in the fourth quarter of this one, and they shoot 4 for 19. Paul George started out the game tremendously. 3 for 3 from 3, 11 points in like 6 minutes, and then not a whole lot the rest of the way. Tyrese Maxey, if you want to get away from the fatigue factor, said he jammed his finger in the second quarter. Hey, he had 19 points in the first half. He only had 7 in the second half. They had this game. They needed to make some shots in the fourth quarter, and I don't know if their legs just died or if they just simply couldn't connect. The bottom line is they didn't connect. And in that fourth quarter, Kelly Oubre hit a 3. First off, Dom Barlow came off the bench and played phenomenal in the third quarter, even was guarding Jalen Brunson for a time, and for the most part was doing well, and then Jalen Brunson just started to be Jalen Brunson. He hit Dom Barlow with that turnaround jumper in the paint that started, it felt like one of the many paper cuts, death by 1,000 paper cuts in that fourth quarter. But all in all, throughout the night, VJ Edgecombe was on Jalen Brunson and held him to about, at one point he had 21 points on 20 shots. And I thought that for the vast majority of the game, VJ Edgecombe was really containing Jalen Brunson. Then they made the switch in the fourth quarter. And as great as Barlow played in his limited time, really his limited time in the postseason in general. As little as he played in this game, I thought he had a great impact on it. There were 2 plays that I wish I could have back on Dom Barlow, and both of them resulted in turnaround jumpers with Jalen Brunson just being Jalen Brunson. It's like, how much are you going to ask of Dom Barlow? Like, in my opinion, he was already giving you more than you could expect. We'll hear from Nick Nurse a little bit later in the show about what Dom Barlow did when he was out there and why Dom Barlow got the call off the bench. But I thought, especially on the offensive side of things in that third quarter, he really helped light a fire under the Sixers to keep them going. And then in the fourth quarter, all fires were put out, unfortunately, for the 76ers. Adembona played really well. Just still is a walking foul. Had offensive rebounds, had 6 offensive rebounds. Had a couple blocks, chase down blocks. Got to the foul line. Guys that you expect to be your role players to step up actually did that. I mean, Quentin Grimes, unfortunately, not one of them. But other guys that you wanted to see coming off the bench and have an impact, they had an impact. It came down to Paul George, Tyrese Maxey, Kelly Oubre, VJ Edgecombe, guys that you're used to depending on your starting lineup, not being able to come up with those big shots. And sometimes basketball is a very easy sport to understand. You work and get wide open looks and you clank them. You're not going to be closing out that game, unfortunately. And that's exactly the way it played out last night. I know a lot of people, and I saw people complaining on social media and all that with the officiating. I hate to break this, but the officiating was really terrible for each team for their own long stretches. I felt like in the first quarter, the Knicks got every call imaginable. Second quarter, I thought it swung right back to the Sixers' favor. Third quarter, I thought it was like the first half was for the Sixers, the second half was for the Knicks. Fourth quarter, I mean, the Sixers just couldn't do anything right. So I think both sides of the fan base here have a lot to complain about when it comes to the officiating. But just know it was really terrible for both teams at different parts of this game. You're down 0-2. Joel Embiid's status especially questionable. I know that this is a game that the Sixers went out there and they played phenomenally without Joel Embiid. And I know some people are going to jump to the conclusion that you don't want Joel Embiid to play. I think either way, this series is going to come down to guard play. And I think the series is going to come down to taking advantage of the open opportunities that you do have. Taking advantage and knocking down the open shots that you do have. Joel Embiid creates those open shots. Defensively, if you could find a way, you didn't see nearly as much as of drop coverage that you saw with them trying to run that 2-man game and the pick and roll at the top of the key with Jalen Brunson. You didn't see as much as that, even with Andre Drummond in the game. And when they did run it, you saw guys coming over to help, like Kelly Oubre or Dom Barlow Dom Barlow at one point, Adembona at another. I feel like you could do the same thing with Joel Embiid, help him out defensively so he's not as much of a liability when he's coming up to guard that pick and roll. Also, seeing Karl Anthony Towns get in foul trouble early in this game also helped the Sixers avoid that 2-man game, that drop coverage, that pick and roll in the first half. In the first half, the 76ers led this game 76% of the time. Like, that's pretty incredible. 76% of the 24 minutes that you played in the first half, you had the lead. Defensively, you were coming up big. You were knocking down shots. Maxey would get hot. PG, as I mentioned, started out the game hot. VJ Edgecombe knocked down some big shots as well. And then in the second half, especially in that fourth quarter, it just all went to hell. It all went to hell. But as far as Embiid goes, I'd much rather have him in this series than not. And when you see he's got soreness, look, I know the guy's battled through a lot. When it's not another injury, whether it's the ankle or whatever it was, and it's just soreness, it's like, I know the guy's battling through everything you possibly battle through. I'm sure there's a lot of guys that are sore. If he couldn't play, he couldn't play. The guy's battled through bigger injuries than whatever has come back. If this is something that he had to miss a game for, then I'm sure he just had to miss a game. But I'd love to see him out there Friday. I'd love to see him getting back to the guy that we saw play against the Celtics, that when he wasn't cooking for himself, he was setting his teammates to have success with those open looks, with getting rebounds, with going out there and, if not being a dominant player in his own right, making sure that his teammates could go out there and be dominant for this club. So I'd love to have him back. We'll get a little bit more into this game coming up in a second, including something else that really jumped out to me about this one. But as all this was going on with the Sixers, I had the 2 TVs set up last night. And I had the Phillies. I was following the Phillies. I wasn't able to do a postcast, unfortunately, but I was locked in on the Sixers. And I'm watching Zach Wheeler have some struggles, unfortunately. I don't want to see that. I want to see Zach Wheeler go out there and do his thing. And Zach Wheeler, for the most part, did do his thing. They got to him a little bit there with an RBI single in the 3rd inning for a 1-0 lead. The A's ended up adding on to that. Kurtz had an RBI single, made it a 2-0 lead. Phillies get on the board with that Reyes ground out in the 5th inning to make it a 2-1 game. And as fate would have it, unfortunately, the A's got that run right back and made it a 3-1 game on a 1-0 fastball from Zach Wheeler right over the middle of the plate that Soderstrom belted to left field for a solo home run to make it a 3-1 game again. Adolis Garcia, he smacked a home run, 421 feet to center field. Made it a 1-run ball game again. And then you can't give a team that's playing as hot as the Phillies are playing right now any ounce of life. You cannot give them extra outs. And last night, the A's, the artist formerly known as the Oakland A's, gave them that chance. Throwing error, McNeil helping us out, the former Met, spiking it to second base on a Bryce Harper ground ball. Now you got runners on first and second in a 1-run ball game. Kyle Schwarber started off the inning with a walk. Harper hits that bouncer to McNeil at second. Garcia gets a single to center. You got the bases loaded, and Edmundo Sosa steps to the plate. How about this guy working a 7-pitch at bat after being down 0-2, and he gets a fastball up and away and connects on it. It was still an 0-2 count. He was 0-2, fouled away, fouled away, fouled away, fouled away. Fouls off 4 pitches and then gets a fastball up and away, is able to put the barrel of the bat on it, pokes it up the middle for a base hit. 2 runs come home to score. You go from down 3-2 to up 4-3. After Real Muto lines out, Marsh comes up again, huge. He gets an RBI single. You tack on another run, make it 5-3. Stott gets a single to keep things going. Crawford grounds on a chopper that he almost beat out down the first base line. Still another run scores. It's 6-3. And then Trey Turner grounds out a little comebacker to the mound. And then Brad Keller made it a little bit interesting there in the 9th, but closed it out nonetheless. Phillies have won now 3 series in a row. How about that for your fighting Phils? Just like that, 3 series in a row, including a 4-game series in Miami, as a matter of fact. They're now 17-20 and 8-1 under Don Mattingly. They have also won 4 games in a row in total. Wheeler's line on the night, by the way. Wheeler comes up with 6 1/3, 3 runs, all earned, a walk, 4 strikeouts, 98 pitches, giving up a home run, and then the bullpen just came in and closed the door for the most part. Yeah, this is some great baseball. The cloud of the manager. You know who I should have on? And I thought about this. I want to have Dr. Joel Fish on again. I'm going to reach out to him and just ask the question, of all your experience of talking to professional athletes, coaches, managers, whatever it is, what does the atmosphere mean? What does the atmosphere mean in the workplace? I try to liken a lot of what we watch in professional sports to everyday life. You know, the person that has the job where they work in a cubicle or whatever, they got to go into the office, whatever it is. And is it really that much different? Are they just like us? That kind of thing. And I imagine if you have a boss that's either overbearing or just doesn't fit the vibe of everybody in the room, I imagine that workplace is not as productive. But then when you have a change, does everyone stand at attention? Does everyone kind of act a little bit different? Is everyone going to have more success under that cloud? Whether it's a dark cloud or whether it's just a little stroke of a paintbrush in the sky, doesn't block out the sun or anything, just obstructs it a little. What is it like? What is that impact really on the psychology of a group of athletes trying to have success? And to hear, as we played for you guys yesterday, Bryce Harper just talking about it like it was so matter of fact to let go of Rob Thompson. Hey, this is a lesson, again, just like it was when they fired Joe Girardi. Joe Girardi wasn't hitting. Joe Girardi wasn't pitching. Joe Girardi wasn't playing in the field. But change things up, and all of a sudden you won 14 out of 16 under Rob Thompson. That's pretty damn good. Now you're talking about an 8-1 ball club under Don Mattingly. This is a lesson for a lot of people. It does. So when has it ever mattered if it's the manager's fault or not? For whatever reason, Rob Thompson was getting in the way of their success. Is that 100% fair to Rob Thompson? No, I'm sure. I think nothing. I think the world of Rob Thompson. I think he is a 1,000% class act. But when it came to being the best guy for this ball club, he wasn't that anymore. For whatever reason, he wasn't that anymore. And I think only the guys in the clubhouse can really put a finger on why. Is it a shame? Of course it is. That a guy like Bryce Harper needed to move on from Rob Thompson so he could get back to a damn near MVP level of play. It doesn't make it analytically speaking, there's no analysis for this. There's no number you can jump to and be like, well, A squared plus B squared. And anyway, he's fired. So what? There's no way you can explain it. All I know is I'm watching much better baseball. And the Phillies are winning ball games. They go for the sweep, by the way, the A's tonight. Another 6:40 start time. That's the way that one shakes out for the Phils this evening. And also, I will say, you heard from Bryce Harper 2 days ago now, talking about Bryson Stott being an everyday player. And then Mundo Sosa gets the start against the lefty. By the way, tonight it's Andrew Painter getting on the hill for the Phils. There was what was the thing I saw last night? Oh, yeah, Marsh had 3 hits in the ball game. Garcia, Sosa, Real Muto, 2 hits in the ball game last night each. Sosa's hitting 294 off the bench. Real Muto's up to 265. Harper took the 0 for last night, did score a run. 277 average on the season. Kyle Schwarber got a hit. That was good to see. And, that's the way the cookie crumbled for the Phils. Your Philadelphia Flyers are on the ice in South Philadelphia tonight against the Carolina Hurricanes. They're down in their series 2-0. I'll play for you the rallying cry, as I'll call it, because I love this quote from Rick Tocchet.
Well, I think just the belief in the room. I think that really helps, the belief in the room of just staying with it. I mean, we've been dead before, and we've climbed out of the grave, So we keep hearing that we're dead and dead, but the guys won't give up, so that's why I'm proud of them.
All right. Well, they got dealt another gut punch yesterday. Noah Cates done for the season with a lower body injury. Done for the series with a lower body injury. Okay. All right. Keep digging deep in this one. I like the Flyers tonight. I like the Flyers winning this game tonight. They know their backs are against the wall. They're on their home ice. They need that little boost of energy that Flyers fans can provide down at the Xfinity Mobile Arena. I think they win tonight. Dan Vladar is still playing fantastic hockey. Offense needs to get it going tonight again. And I know there was a 2-0 lead, and they ended up blowing it in game 2, and they had plenty of opportunities. I felt like in game 2, especially going through it again, I felt like game 2 was a lot like, I think it was game 5 against the Penguins. I think that's the one where, or no, it was game 4. Where, yeah, it was game 4 because it was on the home ice. Sidney Crosby had the shot that was just out of the glove of Dan Vladar. There was one more bounce that just went the it was the Dan Vladar behind the net. Just shoot yourself in the foot type of situations. Well, this was a situation where the Flyers created opportunities for themselves to put the game away and just narrowly blew it. I don't think that happens again. I think the Flyers, as I've said about other teams like the Phillies or the Sixers, they got a better brand of play in them. The Flyers, I think, have a better brand of hockey in them. We started to see that in game 2. We saw that with them jumping out into the lead, jumping out to that 2-goal lead. We saw them taking advantage of those opportunities, crashing the net, capitalizing on opportunities in the slot. Then we saw them still create those opportunities, but not capitalize. When you create those opportunities, more often than not, you're going to have success. You just keep creating them. You don't have to shoot a high percentage here. You don't have to have a high conversion rate here, but you keep creating those opportunities, you're going to score more goals. You're going to win more games. Defensively speaking, the Flyers are absolutely there. Goal from a net mining perspective, I got all the confidence in the world of Dan Vladar going forward. I see them winning tonight. They make it a 2-1 series, and then all of a sudden we have ourselves a series. Home ice advantage, baby. Let them feel it. Let them feel it. Speaking of home field, home court, home ice advantage, Sixers series does shift back as I punch the microphone. Does shift to South Philadelphia starting tomorrow night. There's something in this series that is really bothering me, and it's points in the paint. With Joel Embiid, you got destroyed. Points in the paint in game 1. Without Joel Embiid, you got destroyed with points in the paint. Game 2, you got outscored in the paint 56-30. That's bad. That's very bad. With Tyrese Maxey's driving, look, I know everyone wants to just talk about like big men getting down low and everything. That's not the way it is anymore. But with Maxey driving in the lane, that shouldn't happen. With Adem Bona being in the game and Andre Drummond being in the game, guys that you are expecting to spend the vast majority of their time right in or around the paint in a game without Joel Embiid, you'd like to see those paint numbers shift a little bit, not get blown out for the second consecutive game with points in the paint. VJ Edgecombe, his ability to drive the lane. Don't want to see you get outscored that much with points in the paint. And that's exactly, unfortunately, what happened in this game. And one of the reasons that happened was because the Sixers had 18 turnovers in this game. 18 turnovers that the Sixers allowed the Knicks to turn into 23 points. This is a game you lost by 6. And as great as Tyrese Maxey has been this entire season, all-star starter, as clutch as he has been for the Sixers, and as great as he was in Game 7, finishing that game out against the Celtics, he had a real rough day with 6 turnovers, at least 3 of those turnovers crazily avoidable. Cross-court passes that just, you're trying to pass it over the head of 3 New York Knicks, essentially from wing to wing. And what are we doing here? Nearly corner to corner. What are we doing? There's no need for that whatsoever. And Maxey was trying to force some of those passes last night, and he had no business doing it. And as the box score would indicate, more often than not, the Knicks capitalized on those opportunities. Again, opportunities that were created by just some boneheaded plays. And this is a game. This is a series where you got to be sharp. This is a game without Joel Embiid. You got to be sharp. You can't give a team like the Knicks on their own home court any advantage in the turnover battle. Now, the Knicks had 13 turnovers. The Sixers did not cash in many times on those 13 turnovers, unfortunately for them. They came up with just 9 points on those 11 turnovers, while meanwhile, again, the Sixers had 18 turnovers that they conceded 23 points on. Not good. Not good. And the other part of this is, if you were to tell me that you were going to go into this game and the Knicks were only going to make 7 threes throughout the game, I really like the Sixers' odds of winning that game. Unfortunately, they killed you in the paint, and you kept giving them opportunities in what ended up being a 6-point game. And if there was a turning point in this one, and I'll let you hear Nick Nurse get into it again in a minute, it was the fourth quarter, and it was right around the 7-minute mark. Sixers actually in the final, I saw the Sixers in the final 6:51 of the fourth quarter, 6:51 remaining in the game. The Sixers were outscored 12-3. PG and Maxey missed back-to-back threes. I believe they were on successive possessions. McBride hit a three, made it a 92-92 game. McBride hit a three for the Knicks. Maxey's able to knock down a step-back jumper, makes it 94-92. Brunson drives on VJ Edgecombe, makes it a 94-94 game. OG gets the lay-in, gives the Knicks this 96-94 advantage. Philly calls timeout. Oubre comes in, knocks down a couple of free throws, 96-96 at this point. Also at this point, the Knicks had 6 turnovers in the early goings of the quarter. Sixers had an opportunity to put them away, and they didn't do it. VJ had a great stop on Brunson. Barlow ended up having a block on it. Oubre comes down the other end, knocks down a three. I thought, this is the moment, folks. This is the moment. Sixers take control. It was not the moment. Hart responded with a three to make it 99-99. VJ missed. Oubre missed threes. Remained 99-99. Brunson gets the shot over Barlow, 101-99. Knicks advantage. Maxey misses a layup. Maxey then missed the three. This is all within the Sixers getting those looks, getting those open looks, getting those opportunities. Even though the Knicks, this is the 4:01 mark of the fourth quarter, even though the Knicks were winning 101-99, Mike Brown ends up calling timeout because he sees all the open looks the Sixers are getting, and he's probably looking at the bench. Guys, what are we? This is a 2-point game. You can't just keep giving open looks. He saw what was going on. He wanted to stop it. Unfortunately, it was the Sixers stopping themselves because there were more open looks after that. Brunson was able to convert it on a turnaround jumper on Barlow, make it 103-99 coming out of that timeout. Then VJ missed the three. They put VJ back on Brunson. Bridges knocks down a jumper. Maxey turns it over. Barlow ends up getting a steal. Timeout Sixers. It's a 6-point game, 105-99. And still, Sixers couldn't come up with any sort of run in the final 90 seconds to try to get this basketball game. But that fourth quarter is really what it all came down to, unfortunately. Barlow did come in, and I thought played very well. He went in for Bona, and it was a 1-point game, I believe, right around that time. Barlow came up with a slam. Saw him on Brunson a lot in the third and fourth quarter. Came up with another slam to make it an 89-88 Sixers lead. That's when Josh Hart got hurt around that time. Grimes knocked down a couple of free throws. McBride got called for the travel. And right at the end of the third quarter, Maxey missed that floater. But Barlow, I thought, had an impact on the game immediately. And a good impact on the game. Seeing him on Brunson was a little surprising considering how great VJ was throughout the game. And I'll also say this about VJ Edgecombe. There was a play, I want to say it was in the second quarter, where Brunson beat VJ off the dribble. And I was waiting for him to do it because I believe it was Barlow down low waiting for Brunson to try to get the layup. And Brunson pulls up and he does the classic Jalen Brunson move of knowing that he just took somebody off the dribble, knowing they're not going to be on balance, coming from behind, and tries to pull up, and you can see him look over his shoulder to see if VJ is going to make contact, so he gets the N1 situation. And Brunson pulls up, and on a dime, VJ plants his left foot and jumps to the side of Brunson to avoid the contact, and Brunson ended up clanking it because he was looking for the contact. He wasn't looking to make the shot. He was trying to do two things at once, and it didn't work out. That was a great move by VJ Edgecombe to avoid that. Great move. Oh, boy. Down 0-2. Down 0-2. Yes, I'd much rather have Joel Embiid in the game, but no telling till Friday. No telling till Friday. Oh, as promised, Nick Nurse last night after the game on what went into Dom Barlow's appearance in the game.
Well, there was a number of things. I thought, Bono was impacting the game, especially early with the rim protection. He got in foul trouble. They went small, so there was a couple factors that would at least get out there and look at it. We felt we could switch a little bit more too with him. We had a couple breakdowns on some of that stuff, but I thought, again, we played good enough defense to win that game, especially in the fourth. But again, hold them to 19 in the fourth. You got to hope you can score more than 20.
Yeah, that's that fourth quarter. I mentioned the Sixers scored 20 or 12. Sixers scored 12 points in the fourth quarter. The Knicks scored 19. So defensively speaking, that wasn't the problem. The Sixers all night made the Knicks work for their shots. Brunson had 26 points on 21 shots. They really made, Jalen Brunson in particular, they made him work. Everyone else pretty much had a pretty decent, efficient night. OG, who was a little banged up late in the game, by the way, 17 shots for 24 points. Wow, OG had 2 threes. And he's the only, I mentioned 7 threes for the Knicks. He's the only Knick that had multiple threes in the game. I mentioned it earlier, but Tyrese Maxey jammed his finger in the second quarter. Maybe that affected his shot afterwards. He had 26 points, as did Brunson, but Brunson had 21 shots. Maxey had 23 shots for those 26 points. The 6 turnovers were an absolute killer, unfortunately. And Adem Bona, his 6 rebounds were pretty clutch. Sixers didn't do much to convert on those, unfortunately. He also had 7 rebounds in total. They did start Drummond at center. I thought they'd go Bona. What they had done through the majority of the season or last month or so of the season, Bona would start, play like 15 minutes, and then Drummond would play, 30, whatever. But they decided to go with Drummond to start things off in the ballgame. Game 3, Friday night, South Philadelphia, 7 o'clock. Hey, let me tell you about the Game Time app. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, and get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. Want to go to the game, the concert, the comedy show? Game Time app has you covered. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use promo code Farzy, get $20 off your first purchase on the Game Time app. How about PHL Sports Nation? Philadelphia Sports Nation, enhancing your Philadelphia sports fan experience across all social media and blogs. That's PHLSportsNation.com. Let's get into the chat check and see how wonderful people are doing on this fine evening. Rye, what's going evening? Jeez, listen to me. Morning. Good morning, Farzy. Another great day to be a Flyers fan. Side note, Eagles draft video. I haven't watched all of it yet. I've gotten through a little bit of it, but I'll watch that. Thank you. Sean Gillespie, hello. Natalie, being a Sixers fan is abusive. Pretty much. Hey, everyone. Hey, what's up, Sean Kilrain? Talking trash to a dude who played 40 minutes while you're handing Jalen Brunson Gatorades the whole game is nasty work. Yeah. Was it Sochin that did that? Jeremy Sochin? Yeah. Just trying to be somebody. Ignore him. Who the hell is he? I rather just whatever, dude. Just you have no impact on me. Pin 96. Sixers will split at home, but they're done in 5. Well, I'll just take a win at this point. Cousin. PG is held by OG and it's no call. Sixers get called for backcourt violation. Yeah, that was crazy. I really had trouble. Like, how did you not see that? Cat elbows Drummond in the face, no call. But when Cat gets fouled, it's at the rim. It's reviewed. Let that sink in, Farzy. Yeah, it was pretty terrible. The elbow clearly comes up and catches Drummond in the throat. They see this on replay, but yet they call a tech on Oubre. And I don't think he wound up as much as he just followed through. Like, it's not a wind-up if you have your hand in the air and then you come down. It's a wind-up if you're reaching all the way back, like winding up and then coming down. Jason, I need the Flyers to cheer us up. Absolutely, we do. Town's a crybaby. I agree. Wait a minute. Fun fact, Jet Lachenko is only 66 days older than Porter Martone. Wow. Sean Kilrain. That's crazy. Sean Kilrain from Jeff Kerr. Oh, yeah, Jeff Kerr, my man. Jeff Kerr, the Phillies coaches and team officials are going to have a meeting today with Mattingly to go over trends and weaknesses and come up with plans to address them. How about you just leave him alone? How about you, hey, this is going really well. How can I mess it up? Like, let's not do that. Hey, Farzy, when's the 2026 NFL schedule released? It used to be around Easter it would get released, and now I don't know when that's getting released. Actually, while I'm thinking of it, NFL 2026 schedule release date. Mid-May. So next week, please and thank you. Crossing my fingers. Jay Philly, what's up? 76ers overachieved this year. We are the first 7 seed to win a 3-1 series, but I hope they lock in and try to duplicate the performance. As do I. Yeah, Jared McCain I saw came off the bench and kind of saved the day there for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Yeah, I'd still rather have him than not. I'd still rather have Jared McCain coming off the bench on this team. Missing Jared McCain has me seething. That's funny. Mark, what's up? Next Wednesday, 100%. All right. Hopefully that's the case. For the schedule release, that is. Before I go, this Diana Rossini, Mike Vrabel thing, oh my God, it's something new. It's not every day anymore. It's something new. It's every week. And the idea that now what they're saying is they rented a boat together when she was like 7 months pregnant and went, it's so bad. It's so bad. It's so bad because there's children involved. Good Lord. Anyway. Yep. All right. Full day of your boy today. Okay. Here's what we got. We got Farzy Show wrapping up now, but we also have Locked On 76ers coming to you earlier today, 9:30 start time today, Locked On 76ers. Then we're hopping on Locked On NBA, me and Keith Pompey with our guy Gavin. Not sure if that's going to be live or live to tape. That's going to be at 10:30. And then Locked On Eagles Squad Show. That's going to be today at noon. And then I'll be covering the Phillies hopefully completing the sweep of the A's and Andrew Painter having himself a great outing. How about that? Put that into existence. Wish that into the atmosphere. And, yeah, so I'll be on with you guys for Phillies Postcast today on the Locked On Phillies YouTube channel. Like and subscribe. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. My name is Mark Farzetta. Like and subscribe. Back with you guys tomorrow with an all-new edition of The Farzy Show. See you guys then. Bye. Ugh.